Good afternoon, folks. This is Robert Chappell, Executive Editor of Madison365, with your daily update for Monday, May 3rd. It is already the month of May. Can you imagine that? Today, we have some okay COVID news. We got some other local news, but first, I have to let you know that it is Metcalf's Monday here on the update. Today's update brought to you by Metcalf's Markets. Metcalf's is a fourth generation family owned and operated market with stores in Madison at Hilldale and behind Westtown Mall and in Wauwatosa at 68th and State. Mother's Day is coming up next weekend. And Metcalf's has flowers, sweet treats, and all kinds of gift ideas to help celebrate the moms in your life. And they will deliver flowers if you need it. They'll also deliver your groceries. We're still in a pandemic, so if you still want to do the online grocery ordering thing, you can go ahead to shopmetcalfs.com anytime. Also today, supporting the broadcast is Forward Theater Company here in Madison and their presentation of 46 plays for America's First Ladies. Forward Theater presents 46 Plays for America's First Ladies, a journey through history that utilizes comedy, drama, music, dance, and more as it surveys the lives of the women who have served as First Lady. It's a biographical, gender-bending look at gender, race, and everything else your history teacher never taught you about America. It'll be streaming online May 8th through the 23rd. Tickets at forwardtheater.com. All right. So let's talk COVID first for a minute, for a few minutes maybe. Yesterday, and if you're listening to the It's Only 10 Minutes podcast this morning, you heard us very happy that the 7-day positive test rate had fallen now to 2.9%. Now, that's the percentage of all the tests over the past 7 days, all the COVID tests for the past 7 days that have given positive results. To feel like you have this thing under control, that has to be below 3.0%. Okay. There's nothing magic about that number, but that's, you talk to public health people, they say if your positive test rate is below 3, you're doing okay. Excuse me. We got down below 3 for a while in mid-March. We got back all the way up to 3.8. We've been hovering just above 3.0 for the past week and a half or so. Yesterday, DHS reported that number statewide was 2.9%. I was very pleased about that. Right? We talked about it on the podcast this morning about how that represented, positive movement. Unfortunately, it's not clear. I don't think it was a mistake at 2.9%, but I think later in the day today, some test results were reattributed to different dates or something like that. Because now they're saying yesterday's positive test rate was 3.2 and today's is 3.3. Wrong direction, right? Now, again, we got all the way up to 3.8 a couple weeks ago, came all the way down. We hovered at about 3.5 for a week or so, and it came down to 3.1. It was kind of 3.1, 3.2 for about 10 days. And now we're back up to 3.3. I don't love that at all. Hard to tell exactly what's behind that, if it's variance or what. We do know today also, raw number of new cases is not bad today, 369. That's in line with the last couple of Mondays. Mondays are typically lower than other days just because we're not processing tests on Sundays as much. So the Monday number of tests and number of positive results is a little bit lower than other days. So 369 for today out of 2,863 new tests. That's in line with what we've been seeing for the past few weeks. So I'm not terribly concerned about that. Also, the good news today, 0 deaths reported. Okay. So our total death toll is now 6,839. 8,600 cases currently active. That's on the way down. That was over 9,000 just on Friday. So, that's good news. Basically, a lot of these numbers are good news except for that positive test rate. Right? The positive test rate is kind of the most important number, and that's the one that's going in the wrong direction. Still, 3.3 is not terrible. Not a reason for panic, but still, I don't love it. Vaccinations continue to slow down, and we've seen this. We've seen this on a nationwide basis. That first of all, a couple of things. First of all, just sort of the low hanging fruit, the people for whom getting a vaccine is easiest, are more or less done now, right? Um, so the ones that are not yet done are either those who have really significant barriers to getting a vaccine, language barriers, transportation, whatever, or those that are hesitant, right? Who are still a little wary about, so don't maybe 100% trust it. And then there's a whole bunch of people probably who are just like, haven't got around to it yet, right? I think a lot of people, if you talk to them, would say, yeah, I know, I'm going to get it. I'll get it. Of course I get it. And they just haven't got around to it yet. Those are the people who I want to speak to directly right now. If you just haven't got around to it yet, do it, right? It's not bad. I mean, I had some side effects. A lot of people don't have any side effects at all, or have very, very mild side effects. I was tired for a day, achy, but honestly, that day after, I could have gone to work the day after my shot. Like, it wasn't that bad. Now, we also know that, like I said, there are a lot of folks for whom there are significant barriers. We Madison365 is working with some other agencies to try to spread information and get more people more comfortable with the shot, and help people connect with where the shots are. So a lot of statewide projects are doing that, are working on connecting people with vaccines and bringing vaccines to people, right? That's really, really key. Now, I will also say that we don't have, unfortunately, the DHS website has been having some issues this afternoon. Oh, here we go. It's back up now. 32,000 doses per day over the past 7 days. That's significantly lower than it has been. It was 63,000 at one point, 64,000. So the average number of doses given per day is now half of what it was on April 11th. So in 3 weeks, the average number of doses being given has fallen in half. That's nothing to do with supply or access, right? I mean, it has something to do with access, but it has nothing to do with supply. So those of us for whom it's merely inconvenient, we got to get over it and get it done, right? And if you're in that position where you're like, oh, I'll let everybody else get it first, like, don't do that, right? Your getting vaccinated is your contribution to defeating this virus. At this moment, 43% of us in Wisconsin have gotten one shot. 34.5% of us have gotten both. Have either gotten 2 shots of Pfizer or Moderna, or have gotten the one Johnson & Johnson. So a little bit more than 1 out of 3 have been vaccinated. We need to get that to 4 out of 5, right? We got to get there as quickly as we can before these variants take hold, before things really start to spread again. So, again, if you're having any sort of hesitancy, talk to your doctor, do a little bit of reading, email me. I'll answer your questions. We're going to have some events next week where you'll be able to actually ask questions of the experts via Facebook Live. So, stay tuned for those. It's just really important that we get to that herd immunity. And we can do it. Like, it's in our grasp, and we're going to have enough vaccine. We got to work really hard to get it to people who have trouble getting it. And we got to work real hard for those people who don't have a lot of trouble getting it to actually go out and do it. Okay, that's all there is to it. So that's my preaching about vaccine. Yes, yeah. Dr. Combs, thank you for this. Yeah, it's your turn now. Like, if you've been waiting, your turn is now. It's now your turn. Do it. Don't you don't have to do that thing where you're like thinking you're selfless by waiting, whatever. No, it's your turn. The most vulnerable have gotten it. Like, we're like at 75% or more People over 65 have gotten it. Like, that's fine. People with health conditions have gotten it for the most part. Where we need to be going now is all of us in the middle here who have no excuse not to get it. Just get it. That's your contribution. Like I said, we have to get to 80%. Every one person is one tiny fraction of 1% that gets us there. It's like voting, right? You don't think your vote matters? Your vote matters. Your one vote makes a difference, and your one vaccinated person makes a difference to the rest of us. It's for the rest of us. It's not just for you. The faster you all get vaccinated, the faster we can all get through this together. Okay. Now, one other thing I'll mention about vaccines, where vaccines and sports mix. We're talking more about the Mallards a little bit later, but the Madison Mallards, the local college baseball team here, and Forward Madison, this professional soccer club, are both going to have vaccinated sections. Meaning, it's not clear yet how many tickets will be in each section, but they've gotten basically the go-ahead from Public Health Madison-Dade County to have a section where you can sit without distancing, without a mask on, surrounded by other fully vaccinated people. All right? Doesn't that sound nice? Like, we haven't had that in over a year. But if you're vaccinated, you can do that. And if you can show them proof that you got vaccinated more than 2 weeks ago, you're in, And I think that's really exciting. I think it's an interesting incentive for us to be vaccinated, as well as just a way for them to sell more tickets, frankly. Right. So I think that's exciting, and I applaud them for taking that stance. Okay, so there's lots more news. Stay with us. We're going to hear from one sponsor, and then we'll be back with lots more news about local arts, about local sports, and some other cool stuff. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Here in the Midwest, community is important.
Having a healthcare system that's looking out for us,
that's actively addressing the racial disparities in healthcare is important.
When we can get good quality care, we can do more. We can achieve more.
We can be the kind of community we want to be, and that's really important.
UW Health. Remarkable medicine. Remarkable care.
All right. If you are the artistic type or know anybody who is, you might want to listen to this story. Madison Museum of Contemporary Art, this beautiful structure downtown Madison connected to Overture Center, is going to be hosting the Wisconsin Triennial. This is every 3 years exhibit that's been going on since 1978. That features Wisconsin artists. Okay, Madison Museum of Contemporary Art normally hosts exhibits from all over the world. Then they have this one really super Wisconsin focused one, and the curation staff at the museum, who chooses the works that will be in this exhibit, is kind of acknowledging its own whiteness. Okay, and understanding that everybody comes with their own background, their own history about and thinks of art differently. And so they're very consciously they're going to offer this opportunity for the first time ever to curate this exhibit to somebody outside the staff of the museum, and preferably somebody outside, whiteness. So they're actively recruiting people of color, either as a single person or as a small group or as even a duo, a pair, to curate this exhibit. It's going to be a paid position. This is a $7,500 stipend to do this work. So they're not asking for volunteers. Okay. They're asking for people with some art background, some art expertise, and to be paid for their expertise to curate this exhibit through the lens of a Black or brown person in Wisconsin. So if you go to the site right now, this story is on the front page. Click through, and there's a link to get involved or to suggest somebody. Applications are due next week, Monday, the May 10th. So you don't got a lot of time on this, unfortunately, but you got a week if that's something that you would be interested in looking into. Also today, big story in Madison media, which is sort of inside baseball for us media types, but this is a kind of a big deal for media, generally speaking. This is Byron Allen. He's a comedian and now a sort of media mogul. But he has bought 3 television stations in Wisconsin, including one in Madison. Now, this is a little bit behind the scenes on media, but if you'll indulge me, it's interesting. I think that basically in Madison, there's 4 TV stations, right? There's Channel 3, the CBS affiliate, which is owned by Morgan Free Media. You have Channel 15, the NBC affiliate, that is owned by Gray Television. You got Channel 27, the ABC affiliate, WKW, which is owned by Quincy. And then you have Fox 47, which is owned by Sinclair. Gray Television is buying Quincy. Right? These are big national chains of stations. And federal regulations prevent one company from owning 2 TV stations in the same market. So it's not a monopoly, especially in a monopoly on news. Right? If you don't want to be getting all your news options from one corporation. Right? So to prevent that conflict from happening, Quincy is selling 7 TV stations to Allen Media. So WKOW, the Channel 27, the ABC affiliate here in Madison, as well as stations in Eau Claire, the Eau Claire La Crosse market combined, and the Wausau Rhinelander market, Byron Allen is buying all 3 of those. So that's the first time we're going to have a Black-owned television station here in Madison, and probably the first time in Eau Claire and Wausau as well. Now, obviously, he's not local, and he owns media properties all across the country, worth billions of dollars. This is a $380 million transaction, but it's a little bit exciting, just to have new ownership in town and to have Black-owned TV station here in Madison. I don't anticipate day to day much changing in that station, but it'll be interesting to see if the media landscape shifts at all here in Madison. Also today, we found out that Maya Barut on the left there from Madison East and Emma Harrison from Wanakee are both recipients of the Philippine American Association of Madison and neighboring areas, PAMANA. These 2 young ladies are the recipients of $1,000 high school scholarships from that organization. PAMANA is dedicated to fostering unity and harmony among Filipino American, and local communities in South Central Wisconsin, and they give away a couple of scholarships each year to graduating seniors, especially those of Filipino descent here in Madison. And finally, we're going to talk about sports again. The Madison Mallards unveiled their new look and logo. Now, Madison Mallards have been here for 20 years now, 21 years. And probably 16 years ago, I took my kids to a game. My son was probably 6 at the time. And of course, being a baseball fan, you kind of, you ask your son, do you want to play baseball one day? Would you like to play for the Brewers? Would you want to play for the Yankees? And he pointed right at Maynard the Mallard, the dude in the duck costume, and said, I want to be that. Now, he turned out to be very athletic, but I could also very much still see him being a mascot. That's the kind of guy my kid is. But anyway, they've updated the look of the Mallard to give it this sort of old school bird logo look. A lot of Major League Baseball mascots are birds, the Cardinals, the Orioles. And this has a very old school look, kind of harkening back to the 70s and 80s, but also very, very Madison. They've tried to connect this to Madison with the Swiss cheese home plate there and the 2 feet in the 2 lakes, and pointing like he's calling a shot, but also pointing toward the north side of town. This goes along with something we're going to be reporting on a little bit more later, but a real renewed commitment to community connections with Madison Mallards. Now, you might not be aware that the same company that owns the Mallards also owns Forward Madison, the soccer club. And, Forward Madison has just really benefited from being all in on community connections and stuff. And their counterparts at the Mallards, working in basically in the same office, right, have picked up on that and are trying to kind of redouble that. Now, the Mallards are coming back after a full year off They didn't play at all last year. So there will be, last year was supposed to be the 20th season. So there'll be a lot of interest, a lot of hype as they redouble these community efforts, as well as, try to put a winning team on the field. So we'll be following them. We'll be covering them as they go along. That is all the news I have today. If you find it valuable, I mean, obviously, if you're still here 20 minutes into this, you must find it valuable, the information I'm giving you, and you understand that you don't pay for this. You don't pay for this program. You don't pay for anything on our website ever. You'll never see a paywall on our website. You'll never click a story to Madison365 and see something that pops up and says, this was for members only. This is for subscribers only. You will never see that with us, because we feel like you have the right and the responsibility to be informed. And we have the responsibility to inform you whether or not you can afford it. Right? Like, that's not, whether or not you can afford to be informed shouldn't be something you're thinking about. You should get the news for free. But it's not free for us, right? Every story that you read on our website, we paid somebody to write. Okay? So that means those of you who could afford it, we would love for you to make a donation. We're a 501c3 nonprofit. Your donations are tax deductible. So I put a link in the comments, Madison365.org/donate. And it's like 2 clicks and you can make a donation. You can make it recurring every month. If you would you subscribe to Madison365 for $10 a month? If so, make it a $10 a month donation. It's very easy, and that's what keeps us going. And we have very little overhead. Your donation will not pay for rent or electricity, anything like that. Your donation will go pretty much straight to reporting the news and paying reporters to be at events and to take pictures and to help you understand what's going on in the community. So we'd appreciate your support. That's all I have for you today. Have a wonderful evening. Enjoy yourself, and we will be back tomorrow with the It's Only 10 Minutes podcast first thing in the morning. I'll be back tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Have a wonderful evening. We'll talk to you soon.
This is 365 Media.